YOLO, as of earlier today, October 10th, XRP took a massive price plunge. The reason for this is whales offloading. Whales had offloaded and taken their profit, which had caused the coin to temporarily drop a ridiculous amount. It got as low as $1.50 something, I believe. Now, at the time of this recording, it's probably 20-30 minutes after the fact. Earlier today, XRP was sitting at about $2.80, and it dropped all the way down to around $1.52. I saw this opportunity and I jumped on it, buying more. As always, I'm not giving financial advice, I'm just telling you what I'm doing during this current situation. Now, one of the reasons that I jumped on this opportunity as soon as it had come is because A, I had money set to the side, but B, I know that nothing fundamentally has changed about how the token operates. It's just whales offloading, which the market will correct itself shortly after. I expect within the next couple of days it'll start to balance out. Now, one of the reasons I was expecting a shakeup to happen soon, and I still think we're going to get at least one bigger shakeup before November or late November, is because on November 22nd, ISO 222 goes into full effect. That'll be the new regulatory requirements for cross-border transfers and transactions, which, if XRP is able to capture just a small percentage of Swift's traffic, it will cause the coin to potentially balloon in price. Now, I'm not going to give any price predictions now because far smarter men than I have, and they're probably wrong as well. They're expecting things like $5,000 to $10,000 per coin. I think it's going to go up, but I just don't think it's going to go up that much, and I'm not well informed enough to make a full-on prediction at this point. One thing I do understand is basic human psychology and how markets tend to move more based off of emotion than facts. And some of that I had to learn the hard way when I was learning how to do option strategies. But there's a famous quote from Warren Buffett, which is, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." People were just very fearful at the rapid drop and then bounced back. So I became greedy and bought over 3,300-ish tokens during that time. Now, I am a dividend investor at heart. I love collecting the dividends, watching them grow, filling out my spreadsheets. I've been doing dividend investing for several years now. But as anyone who's watched my channel for some time remembers, a few months ago, I made the drastic decision of selling off all my positions and moving them into XRP, which is definitely not financial advice to anybody. You probably should not sell off all of your years of hard work and put it into one cryptocurrency. But I did. And this will either be the dumbest decision of my life, which I will regret, or the smartest decision of my life, and everyone will call it luck. Funny how that works. But if you want to know how it ends up turning out, consider subscribing and staying along for the journey, because it's going to be one heck of a ride. With the new acquisition of over 3,000 something XRP tokens, that brings my grand total to over 72,000 tokens. This represents the last 4 or 5 years of my life and almost my entire net worth. So definite balls to the wall kind of moment, and I do not suggest it to anyone else because you will sleep a lot better at night if you don't put everything in one basket. I am very ambitious, very headstrong, maybe a touch delusional, also optimistic, hopeful, and many other things. But I had read a book, which was the autobiography of Andrew Carnegie. And in that book, he says, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. And I took that personally, and it applied to what I'm doing. I learned about XRP, I saw the potential, I thought about it, I put everything in, and now that an opportunity to buy in more has happened, I went in a little deeper. And I do expect one more big shakeup to come on, so when that happens, I'll buy in again. I have no intention of selling until at least next year, because I don't want to have to deal with any of it on this current year's taxes, which are already going to be a headache because of all the options trading I did. Now, Worst case scenario, it completely bottoms out. Belly flop, drops to zero, I lose everything. That would absolutely suck. I would feel awful, but I would recover. The time to take risks is when you're young and you're able to. I'm currently single and I have no children, which means I can take the most amount of risks within reason at this stage of my life because I don't have to worry about providing for a wife and kids. I'm also fairly young. I say that as my birthday creeps up next week, so yeah, I am fairly young. So if anything happens, I can go ahead and start rebuilding. But that's all based off of the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, it shoots way up in share price and they add some form of staking to it. That way I can get a dividend, so to speak, off of my XRP. I don't plan on selling unless, something crazy happens early next year, because I would really like to hold for at least 365 trading days so that I get a lower capital gains tax rate when I do eventually sell. And a brief reminder, trading days are typically the Monday through Friday. They exclude weekends or holidays in which the stock market is shut down. My goal would be to hit about 100,000 tokens even before I sell, as like a secondary goal. Whether it goes well or completely explodes in my face, I intend to share the story here on YouTube with you guys. So I'm hoping that you'll stick around and see how things turn out. And I'm very hopeful that things turn out in my favor, because it would suck to have to reset all my progress by 4 to 5 years. But that is the risk that I'm willing to take. But go ahead and let me know in the comments below if you own any XRP yourself, and if you jumped on the opportunity or you ended up missing it because it wasn't a very wide window that it dropped down so drastically. Or completely roast me in the comments if you want about putting everything into one coin. How ridiculous it is. I promise I'll respond, at least to most, if not all. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and consider hitting that post notification bell so you never miss an upload. And, as always, I'll catch you on the flip side.